Hey guys, check it out. You're watching Jonathan Clarke on YouTube. Oh no! I hope that every girl who is a fan of Descendants can forgive me today, because I know I've been dropping a lot of zombies videos on my YouTube channel today. The reason behind that is because there's a special airing tonight on Disney Channel called Zombies 4 Dawn of the Vampires Behind the Scenes. This is the first time that this is actually happening, and this is huge for Disney Channel, because I miss when they used to do behind-the-scenes specials for Disney, like karaoke specials, behind-the-scenes specials. They used to do it all the time for High School Musical and Hannah Montana and Girl Meets World, and now they're doing it for the first time ever with Disney's Zombies. So I'm really excited about that tonight, but I am going to talk about Descendants in this video for every girl who may have subscribed to my YouTube channel because they're a fan of Descendants. My heart goes out to every single girl who subscribed to this YouTube channel because of Descendants. Last night, my subscribers blew up. They exploded because of my videos on Descendants, and it was because of the retro cast that I was talking about. Dove Cameron, Sophia Carson, Cameron Boyce. I miss the original cast just as much as each and every one of you do, but I think that I have fallen in love with the new cast more than I ever had the original cast, and I'm going to tell you why. Just how full of life they were, and how incredibly kind they were, and just how strong of a force they were to the Descendants universe. They inspired girls to become stronger, they inspired girls to stand up for what they believed in, and forever and always I have been a huge fan of the new cast of Descendants, and I will forever support them because they have received their fair share of criticism. I'll take you back to 2024, if you would be so kind to accompany me back in the past, because in 2024 they received a lot of criticism and it broke my heart. I remember reading so many reviews. I remember seeing so many videos where Kylie Cantrell and Ruby Rose Turner were crying because of how people were perceiving the rise of Red. Every little girl loved it, though, and I think that's what they need to remember, is that even though when they received their fair share of criticism, every little girl loved Descendants, and I supported that. I supported how so many people loved Descendants, and I never ever quit on the franchise. I think, let me just say this, I think that Ruby Rose Turner is just incredibly kind, and if there was one girl that I could fall in love with and spend the rest of my life with, it would have to be Ruby Rose Turner, because I think that her genuine, kind personality, being genuinely kind, is really hard to find. I often say this about friends that you have in your lifetime. You don't really need a whole lot of friends. All you need are a few really good friends, and that kind of friendship was put on display with Kylie Cantrell, Ruby Rose Turner, and Mila Baker, who have been friends all of their life. I know that Kylie Cantrell and Ruby Rose Turner have been friends ever since the age of 9, when they used to sit at home and watch Descendants and aspire to be the next Descendants actress, and they got that opportunity. I think that it's beautiful when girls have a friendship that no guy can ever come between. Let me just say this. And if you are in a relationship with a guy who thinks that you're spending way too much time with your girlfriends and you love your girlfriends more than you love the guy that you're supposed to be with, he is totally wrong. I love that about a girl, when a girl has a friendship with a girl that can never come between anything. So I really think that is of extreme rarity, and that's why I love watching videos of Kylie Cantrell, Ruby Rose Turner, and Mila Baker having fun all the time. I can never get enough of it. Just yesterday afternoon or yesterday evening, as the sun started to set, I saw this video that Kylie Cantrell threw up on her Facebook fan page of herself, Mila Baker, and Ruby Rose Turner having fun. They were singing and dancing. They were shooting a TikTok video with Ruby's phone, and it was so adorable. And it brought back memories of just how much fun they used to have off of the camera of Descendants, because I really don't think they had a whole lot of fun in front of the camera. I think that's what Disney wanted them to perceive as if they were having, was fun in front of the camera. That's why I give you my word that if you girls hit my subscribe button, what I'm going to do is, the first move I'm going to make as an executive behind the doors of Disney in my office is fire every member of the social media department, because it has to be done. The social media department has to go at Disney, and I'll tell you why the social media department has to be removed. The social media department has to be removed because these girls love to have fun, they love to smile, and they have a right to have fun and a right to smile. Every girl deserves the right to smile, and I could be wrong by saying that, but I really think that I'm justified in saying that every girl deserves to smile, no matter how much pain they could be in. And I know that Kylie's been in pain over the last year, because she's been crying about her political point of view having been dragged into the conversation, which there is no need of. I know that Ruby Rose Turner has been in pain because she's been crying because Hollywood's turned her down for so many roles. Let me just say this. I think Ruby Rose Turner is incredibly beautiful and incredibly kind. And because she's incredibly beautiful and incredibly kind with so much talent through in there, I think she could be a live action Rapunzel just as fast as you could snap your fingers. She could be a live action Aurora for a live action Sleeping Beauty remake. I know that went to Lily May a couple of years ago, but I really think that she could be, you know, a live action Disney princess without a shadow of a doubt in my mind, and I would be incredibly supportive of that. I would be the first in line to get tickets for the live action Tangled if they substituted her for Sabrina Carpenter. Honestly, I think that Sabrina Carpenter is somebody who is very overrated. I think Taylor Swift is somebody who is very overrated. And I say this because every single morning when I open up my social media feed, I see a picture of Sabrina Carpenter. I see Sabrina Carpenter making headlines. I see and I read about Taylor Swift making headlines. So you can substitute Ruby Rose Turner for Sabrina Carpenter anytime, anywhere, and I would be incredibly supportive of it, and I would be the first in line to get tickets for this. I think that stars such as Ariana Grande, Ruby Rose Turner, Kylie Cantrell, Dove Cameron are never given enough credit, and they are constantly being overshadowed by these celebrities that are very overrated. You know, years ago, one of the very first celebrities that made me famous overnight was Lindsay Lohan. Lindsay Lohan wasn't really doing much years ago, but because I was talking about Lindsay a lot on my podcast, for my blog, Lindsay was one of those celebrities because she made me famous overnight, and I give her a profound amount of credit for doing that. And I'm really excited seeing her return for Freakier Friday, the reboot of Freaky Friday from 2003. I used to hang out at my buddy's house all the time, and we used to watch Freaky Friday, the original one, when Lindsay Lohan was probably about 17 years old. And that was one of the movies that she became famous for. Of course, The Parent Trap. I learned how to dip Oreo cookies in peanut butter because of Lindsay Lohan. The Parent Trap was another one. I Know Who Killed Me was another one. Labor Pains eventually became another one. But Freaky Friday is what done it for me. And then Miley Cyrus, of course, was somebody who eventually became overrated, but she was someone who, you know, I developed one of my first crushes on from the Disney girls, from the Disney Channel Revolution, and Emily Osment, of course, which really kicked it off into a high gear for me with Hannah Montana. I think that, point being, I think a lot of girls are never given enough credit. I think that Ruby Rose Turner and Kylie Cantrell definitely fall into that category, because I say this because they have done such a fabulous job after having the torch passed to them. And I think that Freya Sky and Malachi Burton are going to do a fabulous job carrying on the torch and the legacies of Mila Manheim and Meg Donnelly as they sit behind the camera now and offer a very different creative energy to the Zombies franchise. I think that they deserve to have fun, and they deserve to have an experience that they will always remember. You know, one of the greatest fears that I always had, I've never really been open and honest with you guys about it, but one of the greatest fears I've had as a blogger on YouTube is that I never ever want to be forgotten. All I've ever wanted is for you guys to remember me for what I created for you, what I said about the things that I talked about, the niches that I attracted. My greatest fear is being forgotten and fading off into obscurity. And I had faded off into obscurity years ago. But for whatever reason, you girls believed in me so much that you brought me back from out of obscurity, like Batman when he fell into the abyss after Bane broke his back and everybody pulled him out of the abyss. You guys obviously wanted a hero. You saw that and found that hero in me, and because you saw and found that hero in me, you pulled me out of the abyss no matter how hard you had to pull. You kept pulling and pulling and pulling, and you revived me. And ultimately, you became my light out of darkness, and I can never thank you enough for that, because there are a lot of people on YouTube who review Descendants and Zombies so unprofessionally, and they really leave people in tears because there are so many... the thing about me is I know what it's like to be you. And what I mean by I know what it's like to be you, I know how much criticism towards your favorite Descendant stars can really affect a girl who loves them so much. You know, actually today, I'll tell you something really cool. I was actually thinking about purchasing the original Descendants trilogy today off Amazon. I was actually pricing it. I was thinking about buying it. And I might follow through with buying it because I have a huge DVD collection, and Descendants has been absent from that DVD collection for forever. And I was looking at all the Descendants merch on Amazon. I mean, this is, some of it is pretty pricey, but I think that it really has inspired so many people. You know, I'm really thinking about buying the DVD collection from the original Descendants because I do miss Dove Cameron, I do miss Sophia Carson, but I think that I've really fallen in love with this cast of the Rise of Red franchise inside of it more than I ever have anyone who had anything to do with Descendants or Zombies, because of just how powerful they are. I mean, let's be honest with ourselves. I think that more girls now are stronger because of Descendants, The Rise of Red. You know, more people are standing up to the bullies, standing up to be courageous, standing up for their friends more. And if you're standing up for your friend who may be a victim of bullying, who may be being tripped up in hallways, called names, made fun of, I have all the respect in the world for you because that makes you a wonderful person. You know, I went through high school and I had a very, I'll say, awful experience because I was tripped up in hallways, I was made fun of, long story short. And very rarely would somebody pick up for me. So, you know, sometimes I felt like I was alone, I was lost, but I think that more people now are standing up for their friends more. They are more courageous because of what Descendants and Zombies has inspired them to become. And if not for this franchise, I don't think the world will be in the position that it is right now. I don't think the Disney fans would be in a position they are right now. They are drawing inspiration from Descendants and Zombies for whatever reason or whatever character they may see the rise through. I think a profound amount of credit that needs to be given to each and every one of you because you are incredibly kind. One thing that I very quickly found out about the Descendants and Zombies niche is that you guys are forever and always kind and very supportive of me, and you have never ever quit on me. Because, you know, when I first launched this YouTube channel, along with spreading a message of kindness, I wanted to talk about the Descendants and Zombies franchises because I had been watching videos of this for forever, and I never ever found a video or a host of a show that talked about it the way that I wanted to hear it talked about. They were making fun of it, they were saying what they didn't like about the movie more than what they liked about the movies, and it really upset me. You know, I saw guys shoving chili dogs halfway down their throat, the full length of their throat, their esophagus. I saw girls crying because they just thought the movie was stupid. I saw a crazy cat ear headphone wearing lady that made no sense to me whatsoever. Another guy had one chair in his mother's bedroom, I think it was. Probably living at his mom's house. I don't know, but these videos, you know, should never have been uploaded to YouTube, to be honest with you. So I just wanted to create a show that was solely devoted to Descendants and Zombies and talked about Kylie Cantrell and Ruby Rose Turner so much so that they would stop crying. That they would become stronger, and they would know that they could Google themselves and see videos and hear commentaries that were worth seeing and hearing. Because I would imagine that Kylie Cantrell has seen so many videos on YouTube that it's really upset her. And I want Kylie to know that she's never done anything wrong, only just put a smile on everybody's face. I mean, the Worlds Collide Tour was an exemplification of that. Kylie was one of the first stars of the Descendants franchise to welcome us all to the Worlds Collide Tour. She was so proud to be in all of your presence. And I think that a lot of people drew inspiration from this. I also love how every chance the stars of the franchises got, they were in the crowd, and they were interacting with you. And as the director and writer and producer of Descendants, if I were the writer, director, and producer of Descendants, that is one thing that I would want, and that's one thing I would want to get the most out of. So I could create an immersive experience along with a lot of pyro and special effects for fans, because I think the pyro was really lacking. I don't know what happened to the pyro department and the special effects department, because there could have been way better special effects, there could have been way better pyro, and if I get in as part of the management team, that will happen for you. And the next time around that we see a Descendants and Zombies Worlds Collide Tour Part 2, which is what it could be called, there will be a lot of pyro and a lot of stuff will be blowing up. Because I believe that a fan deserves the best experience possible, a very immersive experience where they shouldn't be afraid and wonder if their favorite star is going to notice them. Everybody will be noticed because everybody deserves to be noticed. That's why you guys should elect me as President of the United States in 2028, so Kylie Cantrell can finally have a president that she could be proud of, and she wouldn't cry herself to sleep every single night because she's not a Donald Trump supporter. I really don't care if Kylie is a Donald Trump supporter or not, because she's done nothing wrong. And she deserves to shut her eyes every night knowing that everything is going to be okay. And so do you. You deserve to know that everything is going to be okay. And that's what I've always wanted you to know, is that everything is going to be okay no matter what you're going through. I love Descendants: The Rise of Red because the Descendants: Rise of Red franchise inspired so many people to overcome their fears, to never be afraid, to become stronger, and to be there for their friends. Because I've often said that you don't need a whole lot of friends in this lifetime. All you need are a few really good ones. And if you have a few really good friends that can help you make sense of your own life and the situations and circumstances that befall you, and can get you out of every situation, then you're going to be okay. Everything is going to be okay no matter what anybody thinks of you, no matter what happened to you today. Everything is going to be just fine. And you're going to have to forgive me because I am a real sweetheart. And when I don't have the opportunity to create these videos for you, I miss you guys. I think about what you're going through. I think about if you got the advice today that you needed. And I hope you make sense of your situations. Because I see a lot of guys treating girls unfairly, and I've heard stories about Kylie Control's X-Man, and I guess that's why I received worldwide popularity for wanting to vertical suplex Kylie Control's man. Why I've been so vocal about Brian McCartney is because I've seen so many videos and reports about their relationship and how Dove Cameron felt as if she couldn't be herself in that relationship, and that really broke my heart, because I think that Dove Cameron and Kylie Control are one of the reasons why this all happens the way that it does for Descendants fans. If not for Dove Cameron's contributions to the franchise, if not for the contributions of Sophia Carson and Kylie Control and Ruby Rose Turner in years to come, I don't think we would be here, because it's a passion that has brought us all together. And I think that because God gave them voices, they should have the right to use their voices and have creative freedom. So one of the things I'm going to do, along with firing the social media department, is I'm going to give them creative control and creative freedom. I'm going to sit down individually with every member of the cast of Descendants and Zombies, and I'm going to say, what do you want to get the most out of your character? What do you want your character to be defined and remembered for? And once they explain to me and offer on the table what they want to get the most of their experience for being part of the Descendants and Zombies franchises, I'm going to make it happen. Or I'm going to do the best I can to make sure that it happens for them, because they do deserve to make each and every one of you happy in the way they want to make you happy and feel happy themselves. I think that every chance they got when they could speak to the crowd and thank them for the opportunity, like Freya Sky did when she performed her song Gold Is Gone, which is a beautiful song, by the way, a very beautiful song to have on her EP, along with every other song that was on that EP, along with Kylie Control's EP, which was also fabulous. Every chance they got to speak to the crowd, they did, because they felt like they were in control of it. They felt like they had creative freedom, which is something they didn't have during Descendants and Zombies production. I think Zombies gave them minimal creative freedom, but not enough. And I wish that same kind of minimal creative freedom would have been given to Descendants. I guess Disney recognized the popularity of it, and they didn't want photos snapped without being approved by the social media department to leak anything about Descendants. They didn't want to give them creative freedom because Descendants was so popular, and so much more popular than Zombies had ever been. So they didn't want to do anything that would ruin the popularity or sacrifice everything Disney had put behind it. You know, for a movie that had such a small of a budget, Descendants did a fabulous job. Descendants made the most of every opportunity they had. We had Mel turning into a dragon. We had Ursula's daughter Uma turning into a serpent. We had so much special effects, so much CGI for a Disney Channel original movie and for Disney Plus that we never did see with movies of the past like High School Musical and Hannah Montana and everything having to do with Selena Gomez and Demi Lovato from years ago. Descendants really was blown out of proportion, and blown out of proportion in such a good way because it had tens of millions of fans and such a huge response. And a lot of it had to do with how the cast members really fell in love with each other from the first moment they saw each other and stepped onto the set of it. And the thing was, it was so hard for Kylie Control and Ruby Rose Turner and Mila Baker to act as if they hated each other, because genuinely you could almost see the tears in their eyes, because off of the camera they were such great friends. And I just want to say I have so much respect for people who can be put in these situations where they have to act as if they hate each other, where they have to act as if they're brokenhearted. When somebody dies even on set, it's quite challenging to, make it work. But I have such respect for them for being able to just, stay within character and being able to do it, because some of the most beautiful friendships have been created off of this Descendants franchise. You flash back to Dove Cameron and Sophia Carson's friendship. I mean, so many people were questioning that. It was almost like they were closer than they were allowing to us that they were. And the same thing with Kylie Control and Mila Baker's friendship. I mean, there were times that they, felt very emotionally connected to what they were doing. And I had a lot of respect for them for that. And I've never ever forgotten the friendships that Descendants have given us as Disney fans. It's been such a huge honor of mine being able to sit behind this podcast microphone and talk about Descendants and Zombies in the way that I have. I may have moved into a home near a soda plantation and a chemical plant that may have exploded, but I love being a part of something special that everybody is going to remember when they're 50 years old, which I think they're going to. I will never forget the imprint that Descendants and Zombies has had on my life. I never ever will. I know I say a lot of crazy things about my theories about an alien spacecraft, a mothership on its way to Earth by November 2025 to kill us all, and how I lived across the street from a vampire whom was my neighbor. But I do this because, and talk about a Ukrainian friend and a friend from New York that I have. But the thing is, I do this because I love to make you laugh, and I love to create videos that you will love. And I really do believe, and I really do think that Ruby Rose Turner is the most genuinely kind person that I've ever had the opportunity to talk about on this program. And I think Kylie Cantrell has such a beautiful future ahead for her, and that's why I think that they're receiving criticism that they don't need. I think the more moral support that we can give people like Kylie Cantrell and Ruby Rose Turner, I think the better off they are going to be, and the more fun they are going to have portraying their characters and bringing them to life. I know people have pretty much shut the door now on people like Dove Cameron and Ruby Rose Turner reprising their roles, but when it comes to Ruby, she's one person that I have never counted out or stopped believing in or quit on. And I'm never ever going to quit on Ruby because I like to believe that Ruby has never ever quit on me. So why should I, as a fan of Ruby Rose Turner, close the book on Ruby reprising her role as Bridget? I think she did a beautiful job as the young Queen of Hearts, explaining why the Queen of Hearts became as villainous as she did. I think that Ruby Rose Turner did a fabulous job, so much so that nobody could have ever portrayed the character of the young Queen of Hearts as effectively and as powerfully as what she did. I think her message was conveyed very powerfully, and it was learned and it was accepted by so many different people from so many different walks of life, and now people are stronger because of Ruby Rose Turner. I mean, you can't tell me that you haven't joined the gym here recently or joined the volleyball team or the swim team, because you have, because you see yourself through the eyes of your favorite Descendants characters. I don't know what the future has in store for Descendants, but I know that this story is far from over. And I will never ever stop believing that this story is far from over, because it's really been an honor for me to be able to create all of these videos for each and every one of you and critique Descendants and Zombies in a way that it's been meant to be critiqued for a very long time, instead of offering you constructive criticism that you don't want to have anything to do with, talking about it in a way that it was never meant to be talked about, reviewed in a way that it was never meant to be talked about. I just want people like Kylie Cantrell and Ruby Rose Turner to know that there is hope out there for them, and that you can never have enough fun with creating characters and really bringing them to life, because there's something called character psychology, and I think that they're definitely smarter and more powerful than they're ever given credit for. And I think that the futures of these stars is something that I look forward to. I really do love creating these videos. I've had a lot of radio show hosts ask me, and YouTubers ask me, what is your favorite thing to talk about? I think this is hands down. It's attracting a lot of traffic. It's giving me a lot of views, X number of views. It is bringing in a lot of subscribers, and I just love being here for each and every one of you. I really, really do love being here. There's no other place in the world I would rather be than having the honor of sitting behind this podcast microphone every night of my life, and having the honor and distinction of being the voice of Descendants and Zombies, because really you girls have chosen this YouTube channel over every other YouTube channel on YouTube, and you have made me the voice of Descendants and Zombies, having made me famous overnight. And I honestly can't thank you enough for that, because I honestly don't know where I would be without each and every one. I really don't. I really don't know where I would be without each and every one of you, because this is, as I've said, this is a huge honor for me to be able to sit behind this podcast microphone and to have talked about Descendants and Zombies in the way that I believe that it needed to be talked about for far long enough. A lot of people were criticizing it when they had no business criticizing it, and it was really breaking my heart that so many people were looking up Descendants and Zombies every night of their life on YouTube, on their phones, on their tablets, on their laptops, what have you, and not finding the videos that they wanted. And then they were looking up Zombies videos, and the same thing was applying. You weren't finding the greatest Zombies videos. I saw one idiot reviewing a Zombies music video for Zombies 4 Dawn of the Vampires. It was the Place to Be music video, just after the music video premiered about a month ago, and he was trying to figure out what was the difference between a daywalker and a nightwalker. Daywalkers were vampires that could basically walk in the sun. Nightwalkers were vampires that could only walk in the night, but they could walk in the day with special rings. And the forbidden fruit, of course, had a lot to do with that too. I mean, what idiot out there couldn't understand that? Honestly, could you have understood it better for people who love it so much? The thing you have to know as a YouTube creator, what you are talking about is what somebody loves, obviously, if they watch their video. So, of course, the fan knows what the day fruit significance was, what the significance was between a day walker and a night walker, and the difference was, but you act so oblivious to it. at least create a video where you understand what you're talking about and what you're relaying to in the way of information to your niche, because I think that one of the most challenging things as a YouTuber is relaying information to your niche that they obviously know a lot about because you're a diehard fan of it, and you just have to really be into what you're talking about. I think a lot of YouTubers drastically fail at doing that kind of thing. For whatever reason, people talk about Descendants and Zombies. Obviously, it's because of the popularity of it. But if you're talking about it, at least make the fans believable, and trust in you to provide you with great content. And that's all I've ever wanted to do. I wanted to have fun creating these videos, and I like to believe that I accomplished my goal with that. I really believe that this is the greatest honor that I've ever had bestowed on me as a YouTuber for the last 25 years. I've been on YouTube for a very long time. It'll be 27 years next year, and I'm almost at my 30th anniversary. That's unbelievable. As Descendants celebrates 10 years this year, and I can't wait for it to see 15 years of an anniversary, 20 years of an anniversary, and I want to be along for the ride. Can I join you guys on this incredible journey you've got me on for a little while longer? Can I please be the voice of Descendants and Zombies for a little while longer? Because I love each and every one of you so much. Because you've made me famous overnight. You've made me the voice of Descendants and Zombies. And I just love being here with each and every one of you. There is never enough kind words said in this world. There's never enough kindness seen. And the words I love you are never said enough. So I think we can make a difference as Descendants and Zombies fans. And Descendants and Zombies has taught us over the last 10 years. I love it so much. I really do. And I just want to be along with you for the ride, with you by my side. Thank you so much for having made me the voice of Descendants and Zombies for what feels like an eternity for me, an experience and a time and a chance that I will never, ever forget. Be kind to one another. Bye, YouTube. We will do this again. Actually, tomorrow I will be back again. It's Sunday, so I have nothing to do. So I will create more videos for you tomorrow. I'm hoping that you will hit the subscribe button. We'll probably get 10, 15 subscribers. I wish. I love you guys so much. Be kind to one another. Bye, YouTube. We will do this again tomorrow morning.